Welcome to Celestia Astrology. I'm Sonia. The Gemini full moon, Twin Peaks, a moment of decision. Allow me to pull on the astrological threads, and maybe weave some together for the full moon on December the 15th, 2024. It will be at 9:01 a.m. in Universal Time. The full moon will reach its peak at 23 degrees 52 minutes of Gemini, bringing themes of choice, clarity, and resolution to our lives. This lunation offers both tension, stillness, and decisiveness. It may be a turning point, with its ruling planet Mercury stationed direct, just hours after the full moon perfects. This urges us to make decisive, perhaps even difficult choices, possibly from the many we have deliberated over, in order to clear the path forward. The timing of this Mercury station bakes momentum and clarity into the lunation, signalling a shift from the reflection and delay to action. Gemini, a mutable air sign, embodies curiosity, adaptability, and intellectual engagement. Yet, in its third decan, jointly ruled by Saturn and the Sun, its playful nature takes on a weightier tone. The energy of this full moon calls for firm decisions, the embrace of necessity, and the courage to sacrifice options in favour of focus. In order to make a decision of yes, we are also always deciding no to the alternatives. Gemini's energy and Mercury's influence. Gemini is a masculine, mutable, flexible, and adaptable air sign. Ruled by Mercury, the messenger planet of communication, intellect, and adaptability. Masculine energy in astrology emphasizes external expression, action, and engagement with the world. Gemini's mutable quality brings flexibility, curiosity, and a knack for juggling multiple ideas or tasks. Its air element fuels thought, dialogue, and connection, making this a time for sharing ideas and clarifying intentions. This full moon, carrying this twin messenger mercurial energy, amplifies the themes of intellect, how we process information, communication, and decision-making. The mutable air energy invites us to embrace mental flexibility and explore new perspectives. However, the serious tone of the third decan of Gemini, ruled by Saturn and the Sun in both the descending order or Chaldean and Trappist methods, tempers this light-heartedness. Here the focus sharpens to do-or-die decisions, where logic and necessity prevail. The Mercury station at 6 degrees and 23 minutes of Sagittarius, just 12 hours, at 20:56 p.m. Universal Time, after the full moon is significant. For weeks, Mercury's retrograde motion in Sagittarius encouraged internal reflection, revisiting old ideas and exploring unexamined beliefs. Now, as Mercury stations direct, the energy is turning to shift outward, creating opportunities for forward motion and clearer communication. Mercury remains in a whole sign opposition with the ruler of its placement in Sagittarius, Jupiter, meaning that the two planets form a mutual reception. They endeavour to support one another with their goals and aims. Both planets are in their exile, so this support becomes even more important. What this means: delays or miscommunications from the Mercury retrograde period begin to lift. Although Jupiter remains retrograde, fresh perspective emerges, allowing you to revisit plans with newfound clarity. Conversations, decisions, and intellectual endeavours begin to gain traction. Moon family and cycles. This full moon is part of multiple lunar cycles, each offering layers of meaning. 28-day cycle culminates the intention set on December the 1st, 2024, the new moon in Sagittarius. Reflect on what you initiated 2 weeks ago and bring it to completion. 6-month cycle closes the chapter started June the 6th, 2024. New moon in Gemini. What themes of communication, learning, or duality have come full circle? Moon family cycle, 28 months. The new moon was on June the 18th in 2023 at 26 degrees of Gemini. The first quarter moon was on March the 17th, 2024 at 27 degrees of Gemini. This full moon on December 15th, 2024 at 23 degrees of Gemini. And then the last quarter moon will come on the 14th of September 2025 at 21 degrees of Gemini. These cycles altogether will show how the seeds of thought and action can grow into meaningful decisions and outcomes over time. The moon family is most felt by those with planets or angles within 3 to 4 degrees of 23 Gemini, or mutable or air signs. You may choose to consciously work with any of these cycles and choose the length that suits how long it will take you to grow your plans. For example, for a quick short-term goal, the monthly cycle is perfect. But for long-term plans, look for a moon family that connects with the relevant planet in your chart for optimum results. An astrologer or astro coach can support you with this. Aspects of the full moon. This full moon's chart is complex, weaving together retrogrades, mutual receptions, and transformative planetary alignments, and translating these planetary connections to us. Mercury stations direct in Sagittarius hours after the lunation. Mercury is the ruler of the moon. Mercury's direct station bakes a sense of clarity and momentum into this lunation, and it underscores the importance of the themes of communication and decision-making. The retrograde encouraged internal reflection, and now the energy is preparing to shift outwards. Advice: use this station to plan how you will move forward on ideas or projects you've refined during the Mercury retrograde. Opposition between the moon and ruler Mercury in Sagittarius. The moon has a whole sign opposition to its ruler Mercury, now preparing to station direct in Sagittarius. This aspect highlights tension between emotional intuition and logical, expansive thinking, which is asking us to find a working compromise. Advice: balance gut feelings with rational analysis. Avoid overextending or idealizing plans. Co-presence of retrograde Jupiter in Gemini in mutual reception with ruler Mercury. Jupiter, also retrograde and in its exile, is in mutual reception with the moon and Gemini's ruler Mercury. This alignment balances expansive thinking with detailed execution. Generous Jupiter rules Sagittarius, where the Sun and Mercury are currently transiting, deepening the reflective nature of this lunation while urging expansive thinking and action. The mutual reception between Mercury and Jupiter emphasizes intellectual agility and support. Advice: pair big picture vision with practical planning. Stay mindful of overextending yourself. Ask yourself, how can I ground expansive ideas in reality? Square to Saturn in Pisces. This aspect adds weight and seriousness to decision-making. Jupiter's square to Saturn and Mercury's whole sign square remind us that growth requires discipline, maturity, and consistency. Align your decisions now with your long-term goals. Advice: focus on commitments that align with your values and release distractions. Trine to Pluto and Venus in Aquarius. This flowing aspect offers opportunities for deep conversations, personal transformation, and creative breakthroughs. It's a chance to integrate lessons learned and connect meaningfully with others. We may find ease in deepening connections and embracing change with grace. Advice: welcome transformative conversations and reflect on the values guiding your choices. Seek depth in your connections and be open to unexpected insights about your values. Whole sign sextile to retrograde Mars in Leo. Mars is the planet of action, but while retrograde in Leo reminds us to revisit unfinished creative or leadership projects or abandoned ambitions with renewed purpose, and asks us, what do we want? Advice: channel energy into revising or completing creative or leadership-driven endeavours. What unfinished business do you have? Use this energy to refine and improve rather than initiate. Be watchful of the higher risk than usual for burnout. Where can you slow down? Applying T-square with Jupiter, Saturn and Mercury. Jupiter in Gemini is moving back into their second degree-based square with Saturn in Pisces, creating a tension between expansive growth and cautious restraint. This is the second opening square from their conjunction on the 21st of December 2020 at 0 Aquarius, where Pluto is now. Their first opening square was the 19th of August 2024 at 17 degrees of Gemini and Pisces, when Saturn was retrograde and Jupiter direct. These placements have now been reversed. Sun and Moon in a T-square with Neptune in Pisces, adding a layer of confusion, idealism, or potential disillusionment. What this means: the Jupiter-Saturn square seeks a balance between optimism and practicality. Neptune square challenges clarity. Ensure your decisions are based on reality, not illusion. And don't get lost in daydreams. Advice: ground your ambitions in realistic frameworks and double-check the fine details of agreements or plans. The decan of Gemini 3, do or die. The final decan of Gemini asks us to confront the crossroads of possibility. Ruled by Saturn and the Sun, it takes Gemini's mutable mental energy and grounds it in stark reality. Astrologer Kira Ryberg describes this decan as decisive, and astrologer Austin Coppock more darkly names this decan the executioner's blade. This speaks to the necessity of decisive action and the sacrifices required to move forward, as well as the finality of decisions made in this place. In the World Way Oracle card, we are shown the Gemini 3 butterfly, reminding us that it's time to decide. We are given the keywords do or die, sacrifice, and necessity of choice. We see the butterfly, a symbol of transformation, making the choices of where to land. The guidebook offers further guidance. It is now time to decide which possibilities to make real and how to discard those that are no longer viable. The judgment required may be difficult, but it is necessary to move forward and to thrive. Kira Ryberg writes on the band that this full moon falls in, ruled by Saturn. This also means that, quote, planets or lots placed in this part of the zodiac are going to behave in a much more stern and serious manner than we normally expect of Geminis. It's the goth Gemini. It also gives someone access to the gifts that Saturn and Mercury bestow when they're at their most influential. Tarot correspondence, the Ten of Swords. This decan resonates with the Ten of Swords in the Tarot, a card that symbolises endings and transitions. Though it may feel heavy or even painful, this decan, and perhaps this full moon, reminds us that necessary endings pave the way for new beginnings. The Ten of Swords card vividly reflects the themes of endings and transformation, depicting a figure pierced by 10 swords. The card symbolises a moment of finality and profound release. While it may appear grim, this card ultimately represents the clearing of old cycles and the painful but necessary end of a chapter, as we see the sun beginning to rise. In the context of this full moon, the Ten of Swords reminds us that letting go, no matter how challenging, can pave the way for a renewal. Just as Gemini 3 demands decisive action and sacrifice, the Ten of Swords calls for acceptance of what is no longer viable. Astro Coaching Insight: as you navigate the decisions illuminated by this full moon, embrace the wisdom of the Ten of Swords. Release what you have outgrown with grace, knowing that new opportunities and beginnings are on the horizon. This card teaches that even in endings, there is hope and transformation waiting to unfold. It's Susan Chang on Gemini 3. Decision Tree. The path is stark. The sword of choice cleaves light from dark. Logic sees in black and white, while story calls forth day from night. The furies and the fates are blind. Protect me, twin gods of the mind. One choice embrace, one choice occlude. Surrender to rise up renewed. The twin has died, long live the twin. All things that end also begin. This poetic wisdom captures the essence of Gemini 3. To rise anew, we must let go of one version of ourselves and fully commit to another. As we prepare to leave Gemini 3 and enter a new season and a new turning of the wheel in Cancer, we need to leave behind the archetype of the twin. Which twin will you choose? The choices we make now hold the power to shape our future. Who feels this full moon most? Mutable signs: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius and Pisces. You might expect decisions or clarity around relationships, communication or goals. Air signs: Gemini, Libra and Aquarius. Creative breakthroughs and intellectual insights flow easily. Those with placements in the decan of Gemini 3. A time of important clarity, transformation and decisive action. Practical coaching tips. Make the hard choices. The energy of this full moon emphasizes focus. Let go of distractions and commit to one clear path forward. This full moon can help clarify priorities and make choices that align with your long-term goals. Prepare for momentum. With Mercury stationing direct, delays will begin to ease. Revisit ideas or plans with newfound clarity. Seek depth in your connections. The trine to Pluto and Venus invites transformative conversations and healing in relationships. Reflect on your values. What truly matters to you? Let these priorities guide your decisions. Prioritize authenticity. Ensure your decisions reflect your true values and not external pressures. Clarifying your values first will help you with this. The Gemini full moon asks for clarity, courage and decisive action. Its complex mix of retrogrades, transformative alignments and Saturnine discipline encourages us to see clearly, clarify and then move forward with wisdom and intention. This is a time to honour endings and embrace beginnings, trusting that the choices made now will set the stage for long-term growth. Step boldly into the next chapter and trust the process of transformation. Travel well, friends. If you've enjoyed this or found any of it useful or helpful, I would be so grateful for your likes, your subscribes or your comments. Please let me know what you find helpful, or I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much.